With you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up the mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus, that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son. Listen to him." After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
What is the point of the Transfiguration? What is the point of the Transfiguration? And what does it mean to us, and especially during Lent? Because we always have this reading during Lent, the Transfiguration. Why? There's a reason for that. The Transfiguration shows Jesus' divinity. Up until this point, his apostles they're familiar with his humanity. He's fully human. He's a man, he looks like a man, he talks and walks like a man, but he's also fully God. But they haven't really seen that side of him. Sure, they've seen he perform miracles and things like that, but even, certain human beings can perform miracles by God. But now they see his glory. His face became dazzling white. His clothes became white. A human being does not look like that. Only the divine, only God can look and shine and be bright and be glorified like that. So they see his divinity. But why is Jesus revealing his divinity to his apostles now? And he picks the 3 that are closest. He doesn't reveal it to all 12. He doesn't reveal it to hundreds of people. He reveals it to the closest 3, the top 3, the inner circle, if you will. Why? To prepare them for the crucifixion, to prepare them for his passion, because he doesn't want them to be scandalized. He doesn't want them to lose faith when they experience his suffering and his death. So this is to strengthen them, to remember what he said will come true, that he is God, and that this death is not the end, but he will resurrect. Because right before this gospel reading, he was telling them about his passion, and this was too hard for them to accept. This was too foreign for them, too difficult, too unheard of, because the Messiah was supposed to be victorious in himself and for the people of Israel. And to hear Jesus say that he was going to be rejected, to suffer and die and rise, they could not comprehend or accept that. So this revelation of his godhood, his Godhead, is to prepare them for that they won't fall away when the suffering comes. But something also is important about the Transfiguration. Not only does it reveal who Jesus is, but it reveals to the apostles and us who we're going to be, what we're going to look like, what our bodies are going to look like at the resurrection, that we will share in his glory, we will share in his divinity. That's our goal. That's what God is trying to accomplish through us. Ultimately, we will share his glory, and that's what St. Paul speaks about in the second reading. right? St. Paul said that God will raise our lowly bodies to be conformed to his. We will look like God. We will share in his nature, in his life, and in his happiness in heaven. But there's a catch. How do we get there? It's the same way that Jesus gets there, in a way, right? He talks about his suffering and death and resurrection in that order. That's called the Paschal mystery, and that is the order. There's no other way to the resurrection except through the suffering and the death. And so this is everywhere. This is just part of life. I was kind of reflecting on this morning and try to come up with a good analogy to use for you, right? Just like our bodies, right? If we want to take care of our bodies, we have to eat well, right? We have to eat like spinach or kale or whatever, right? Sometimes that's not very good, right? It's not very good tasting. I mean, I'd rather have a burger than a salad, but sometimes I have to have a salad if I want to be healthy, right? And not only that, but we have to work out. We have to exercise. I mean, we can't be couch potatoes, right? And expect to have a healthy physical health. And so we have to deny ourselves. We have to work out. We can work out the cardio aspect. We got to push ourselves. We got to run. We got to get our heartbeat up. Sometimes that's not comfortable, but we do it anyway in order to be healthy. Some people go to the gym. I used to go to the gym. I don't anymore. But I used to go to the gym, and I would work out with weights, right? And what do weights do for the muscles? They tear the muscle. The muscles suffer. The muscles die. And it's because they go through this tearing, this rupturing, this destruction, that they grow back stronger and healthier and bigger. So do you see the process? I see somebody here who delivers babies. And for mothers, how many mothers do we have here? Right? When you're pregnant, I hear it's not fun. Right? That's what I hear. I can never experience that firsthand. But I hear you go through motion sickness, your body, the fluids is being absorbed into the baby, you're heavy, there are all kinds of issues, right? And when you're about to deliver your baby, what are you going through? Pain, labor pain. I see Sarah holding her new baby, right? Was it painful, Sarah? You don't, right? So the mother goes through suffering and death, kind of dying to herself in order to bring forth new life. And is it worth it, Sarah? Yes. Right? Is it worth it, mothers? Yes. I don't know, sometimes my mom wouldn't agree with that, but but the point is, yes, you need to suffer, die in order to bring forth new life, and it's worth it. And so it is with us. So that's physically, but also say intellectually. I was thinking about this intellectually too, right? I had to go to school. I had to study hard. I had to take exams. I had to pass exams. All of us, if we want to grow intellectually, we have to do that. We can't just be watching TV and eating snacks. We have to study. We have to test. We have to pass in order to get there, to get a good career, to get a good job, to get a degree, to be respected in society. Am I right? We have to go through suffering. We have to go through self-denial. We have to go through hardship in order to get the reward. And so it is with the soul. And so it is with the soul, the same path. So in order to become holy, in order to become like God, we have to suffer. And God supplies the suffering in our daily life, doesn't he? We don't have to go looking for it. It comes to us. The challenges, the trials, the disappointments, the hurt, the pain, they come to us. We experience them firsthand. And sometimes we don't know what to do when we're suffering, when we have the cross. But Jesus reminds us why we have the cross. It's to perfect our soul. This is how our soul becomes perfected. This is how we grow in virtue. This is how we grow in holiness. This is how we conform to Christ. It's through the trials, and difficulties and suffering of life. So let us remember that when we experience suffering, that they're not just given us out of just some random reason. No, they're given to us out of love, because we're being molded, we're being sculpted, we're being purified, we're being made ready for heaven. So remember that. There's no other path. We take care of our health physically, we take care of our intellect, but we also need to take care of our soul. And God does the work. We just need to cooperate with Him. So that's why we get this reading during Lent, to remind us. So during Lent, we practice self-denial, right? We give something up, something that we like. People give up chocolate or coffee or TV or meat or ice cream or desserts or something, right? You give up something that you like. You're denying yourself. And you also spend more time in prayer. Instead of watching TV or Netflix, you're going to spend some time with the Lord in prayer. And also almsgiving. Instead of hoarding and being greedy, no, you give away what you have. You share what you have. So all these three things that we do during Lent, they're difficult. They involve self-denial. And it's all about conforming to Jesus, being perfect, being holy, being like God. So that's the path. So the Transfiguration shows us what our end is, what our goal is, what our destiny is, what we're trying to accomplish, what God is trying to do in us to make us like Him, to make us perfect, to make us ready for heaven. But life is the process in which we get there, and it's through suffering, trials, and disappointment. So let us remember that when we experience them, and to be open, to have faith, knowing that God gives us the grace. Sometimes I know it can feel overwhelming, whatever it is we're going through, but God helps us. He gives us the grace that we need to carry our crosses and then become like Him.